Sawasdee krab, good morning, and thank you for joining us on Newsline. We're broadcasting live on NBT Radio Thailand FM 88 and NBT World. It's Sunday, October 4th, and my name is Surapan Lautaranarit. Welcome to today's segment of Thailand Moves Forward. The Prime Minister has chaired an arms offering ceremony to mark the 102nd birthday anniversary of the late Supreme Patriarch. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha and his wife chaired the ceremony, which was attended by 150 monks and novices. The ceremony, which was also intended to mark 2 years of the passing of the late Supreme Patriarch, took place at Wat Bawar Niwet Vihan in Bangkok and was joined by representatives from state and private agencies, as well as educational institutions and Buddhists. General Prayut offered the lotus-shaped floral arrangement and a garland to the body of the late Supreme Patriarch before paying a visit to the acting abbot of Wat Bawar Niwet Vihan. Culture Minister Virarot Putanarat said that the ministry has also been designated to organize the merit-making ceremony on October 24th and 25th, as well as the weekend meditation project, which will take place throughout October and November at Wat Bawar Niwet Vihan. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha affirmed that his attendance to the 70th session of the United Nations General Assembly, or UNGA, in New York has successfully raised international confidence and understanding of Thailand's roadmap. On his TV program, Returning Happiness to the People this week, which was taped while he was in New York, Prime Minister Prayut said the 70th UNGA session provided a good opportunity for Thailand to clarify its stance and progress in implementing the reform roadmap. The Thai Premier also had a chance to hold bilateral meetings with leaders of several countries and international organizations, during which he made a presentation on the sufficiency economy philosophy of His Majesty the King. Furthermore, the Prime Minister gave assurances to members of the U.S.-ASEAN Business Council that his administration would strive to ensure mutual benefits between Thailand and the U.S. by laying down a proper foundation of reform, building an effective mechanism to facilitate investment, and clamping down on transnational crimes and corruption. General Prayut added that Thailand was appointed the head of the Group of 77 for the year 2016, thanks to its remarkable success in reducing poverty. The country was on this occasion honored with an International Telecommunications Union, or ITU, award as well. Lastly, the Premier expressed appreciation to all involved units for making his visit to the U.S. and participation in the UNGA a great success. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha has indicated that the selection of members of the new Constitution Drafting Committee, or CDC, and the Committee for Mobilizing the Reform Plan will finish no later than October 5th. Prime Minister Prayut disclosed that Mr. Michai Rishupan, a member of the National Council for Peace and Order, has conferred with him about his nomination as the new CDC chairman. The Premier said Mr. Michai still could not decide whether or not to accept the position, but he is expected to come up with the answer very soon. He also revealed the tentative list of CDC members together to see if they were satisfied with it. General Prayut insisted that by October 5th, all the names in the CDC, as well as the Reform Mobilization Committee, will be concluded. However, he urged everyone to pay attention to what the two panels will try to accomplish, rather than who the members are. Regarding the Constitution drafting process, the Prime Minister affirmed that all public opinions gathered for the previous charter draft will also be taken into consideration in the new round. The National Legislative Assembly, or NLA, is confident it will select the new members of the National Anti-Corruption Commission, or NACC, by October 19th. NLA President Phornphet Vichit Cholachai, who is part of the NLA committee to select new NACC members, said the committee received a large number of applicants for the 5 vacant seats in the NACC. Mr. Phornphet said the applicants will be screened based on knowledge and capabilities, and he is confident that the process will be completed by October 19th. The NLA will then have 30 days to approve the committee's decision. The Ministry of Energy has expressed readiness to invest in important energy projects worth 690 billion baht in the fiscal year 2016. Minister of Energy General Anantaporn Kanchanarat said the projects included the 10 billion baht construction of 500 kilovolt power grids in many areas across the country and the construction of natural gas pipelines. The ministry also planned to construct LPG and LNG warehouses with the objective to enhance Thailand's energy security. As for the Petroleum and Petroleum Income Tax Acts, General Anantaporn said the ministry would finish revising the 2 laws before submitting them to the Cabinet for consideration in October this year. The ministry would push for 5 major energy plans already approved by the Cabinet in 2016, such as those related to natural gas and oil. The Ministry of Commerce has issued a list of dual-use goods for which distributors or exporters will need to acquire registration and export permits. The move came after a resolution of the United Nations Security Council calling on member nations to formulate their own measures to prevent the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction and weapon-making materials. Commerce Minister Apiradi Tantraporn disclosed that the Department of Foreign Trade has been directed to work out regulations for dual-use exports. The Ministry of Commerce has announced a list of 1,230 products that are normally used for civil purposes, but also have military applications. Such items include electronic equipment, plastics, and machinery. Ms. Apiradi said the control system for dual-use items would prevent Thailand from encountering non-tariff trade barriers in other countries. The measure is expected to come into effect in 2018. Interior Minister General Anupong Paujinda has instructed his personnel to constantly follow the government's policies. In a video conference with high-ranking ministry officials, General Anupong advised that they respect and uphold the monarchy and the royal household, follow policies of the government and the National Council for Peace and Order, and help develop the people's quality of life and well-being. Besides, the Interior Ministry's officials are obliged to regulate and oversee local administrative organizations, safeguard and preserve the environment and natural resources, prevent and mitigate natural disasters, promote Thailand's relationships with neighboring countries, and help the ministry's Damrong Tham Center provide justice to all sectors. In particular, the Interior Minister instructed provincial governors nationwide to see to it that the government's important policies will be implemented appropriately and promptly. The Ministry of Labor plans to develop skills of millions of workers to get them well prepared for jobs in an upcoming AEC environment. Mom Luang Buntarik Samiti, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Labor, disclosed that there are currently about 39 million workers throughout the kingdom whom the agency is taking care of. Of that total, some 12 million have entered the social security system. The Ministry of Labor is preparing to develop the skills of these workers for jobs either inside the country or overseas, the permanent secretary said. In addition to the planned development of working skills and trainings, those employees will be taught foreign languages and information technology, she said. In particular, she said the workers will be suggested to do jobs in the tourism and service sectors, which could bring huge earnings to the country, while the AEC bloc is coming of age by the end of this year. More than 4 million workers have attended the ministry's skill development programs each year, according to the permanent secretary. Abundant rainfall is expected across Thailand with heavy rains in some areas during this period. People in the northern, northeastern, eastern, and southern regions are warned of dangers from heavy rain from October 4th to 7th. The Meteorological Department has said the high-pressure system in the southern part of China and the monsoon trough in the Central Plains, the east and the upper south of Thailand will result in abundant rainfall in all regions. Fishing boats in the Andaman Sea and the upper part of the Gulf of Thailand are warned to operate with caution from October 4th to 7th. Tropical storm Mujige approached the South China Sea near the Philippines on October 2nd. Those who plan to travel to the country during this period are recommended to check the weather before traveling. According to the Meteorological Department, the tropical storm does not have a direct impact on Thailand. Bangkok Metropolitan Administration officials related to the drainage and sewerage works have met to discuss ways to drain water from various areas in the capital. The meeting follows continuous heavy downpour as a result of tropical storm Mujige. Many areas in Bangkok have experienced heavy traffic jams, while some areas have been inaccessible to commuters. Deputy Governor of Bangkok, Amon Gitchawinkun, and related agencies will be going to the Ratchada Pisek area to check on water drainage, traffic flow, and public facilitation. The Chiang Mai Tourism Association has predicted that Chinese tourists who are traveling in Chiang Mai during this period will generate more than 400 to 500 million baht. Tourism in the province is very lively since Chinese tourists are visiting the province from October 1st to 10th to celebrate China's National Day on October 1st. President of the Chiang Mai Tourism Association, Ponchai Jitnawasathian, said there were around 3,000 Chinese tourists arriving in Chiang Mai per day. The average staying period was around 2 to 3 days per person, and each of them spent around 5,000 baht per day, said the president. Mr. Ponchai therefore expressed his confidence that 400 to 500 million baht would be generated from tourism during this period in the province. And that's the end of today's edition of Thailand Moves Forward. We'll take a quick break now, but before that, let's have a look at the exchange rates and commodity prices.
To maintain a strong nation, Thailand is promoting 12 core values for the good of the people. Third core value: being grateful to parents and teachers.
Even if we don't see them, they are amongst us. And they're hungry. Slay your power-sucking monsters. Take their power away. Think when you plug.
Multiple perspectives, insightful commentary on Thailand with The Insider every Sunday morning at 10:30 on NBT and NBT World.
Welcome to ASEAN, a community comprised of 10 countries, each with its unique culture and history, now unifying to bring added prosperity to the region. For centuries, each country remained independent, but now we are coming together to compete in the 21st century globalized world. ASEAN is bringing together more than 600 million citizens and a total land area of 4.4 million square kilometers, and is providing economic opportunities, trade, travel, and new educational possibilities. The combined GDP of all 10 ASEAN countries comes to a total of $2.4 trillion, which means the ASEAN entity ranks amongst the world's major economic powers. The future is here. Welcome to ASEAN, the community of opportunities. The Southeast Asia region is now becoming one.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline. And the Office of the Basic Education Commission and the Romchat Foundation have held the 10th Pet Yod Mongkut English competition for students from grade 1 to 12 at Ritya Wanalai School in Sai Mai District of Bangkok. Participants included 3,162 students from 1st grade to 12th grade from 504 schools, competing for awards which included certificates, medals, scholarships, and the royally bestowed cups from Her Royal Highness Princess Mahachakri Sirinthorn. There were various types of competition, such as essay writing and public speaking. According to the Deputy Director of the school's Academic Management Board, Pet Yod Mongkut English competition aims at encouraging the development of English teaching and learning, while providing a stage for students to demonstrate their English communication skills. Through the event, participating students could improve their English communication skills while being encouraged to use English more in their daily lives. The event has been endorsed by the Princess in its entirety since 2005. Let's take a look at other stories from around the globe. An airstrike probably carried out by U.S.-led coalition forces killed 19 staff and patients on Saturday, including 3 children, in a hospital run by Médecins Sans Frontières, or MSF, in the northern Afghan city of Kunduz. The U.S. military said it conducted an airstrike in the vicinity of the hospital as it targeted Taliban insurgents who are directly firing on U.S. military personnel. It said an investigation into the incident had begun. UN Human Rights Chief Zeid Ra'ad al-Hussein led a chorus of condemnation without saying who carried out the strike, noting that an assault on a hospital could amount to a war crime. Medical charity MSF said it had given the location of the hospital to to both Afghan and U.S. forces several times in the past few months, most recently this week, to avoid being caught in crossfire. At least 3 children, 4 adult patients, and 12 MSF personnel died in the blasts, the aid group said. At least 37 people were wounded and many are still missing, it said. Afghan government forces, backed by U.S. air power, have fought to drive the Taliban out of the northern provincial capital since the militants seized it 6 days ago in the biggest victory of their near 14-year insurgency. The battle in Kunduz comes just as the United States is weighing whether to slow a drawdown of the nearly 10,000 U.S. forces in Afghanistan. The top U.S. commander in Afghanistan, Army General John Campbell, has drawn up options that include keeping thousands of troops in the country beyond 2016, U.S. officials say. Diggers plowed into a huge mound of earth and rubble bearing part of a Guatemalan town to search for survivors of a massive landslide that killed at least 56 people and left hundreds more missing. Rescue operations restarted early on Saturday in Santa Catarina Peninsula on the southeastern flank of Guatemala City, after authorities said on Friday that as many as 600 people were unaccounted for after Thursday night's disaster. Loosened by rain, tons of earth, rock, and trees cascaded onto the town from the hillside above, flattening houses and trapping residents who had gone home for the night. National Commission for Disaster Reduction, or CONRAD, rescue worker coordinator Sergio Cabanas said they were digging with shovels and heavy machinery. Emergency services said that at least 56 people had died, though fears that hundreds more were trapped threatened to make the landslide one of the worst natural disasters to hit Central America in recent years. The initial list of dead included 3 babies. Authorities opened up nearby shelters where families received food and medical attention. Families and friends of victims gathered near a makeshift morgue near the excavation site to see if they recognized any bodies recovered. Others had arrived to help the soldiers, firemen, and neighbors with our rescue efforts. The tragedy hit Guatemala 10 years after a heavy rainfall triggered a devastating landslide in Panaba in the southwest of the Central American country, burying the village. In October 2005, hundreds of people are believed to have died, and many of the bodies were never recovered. A Michigan soy farmer has made an astonishing discovery unearthing the remains of a prehistoric woolly mammoth while he and a friend were digging in his soy field. According to the Washington Post, James Bristle from the Lima Township, just southwest of Ann Arbor, thought he and his friend were pulling out a fence post. But the fence post turned out to be a rib bone and the first part of several pieces of a woolly mammoth skeleton, including its skull and tusks. Paleontologists from the University of Michigan soon took control of the site after Bristle got in contact with them and began the painstaking process of excavation. According to the head of the university's Department of Paleontology, the bones of the now extinct elephant-like animal are at least 10,000 years old. While the skeleton is not complete, it does include large sections of the mammoth remains, including its pelvis, vertebrae, shoulder blades, and of course the gigantic tusks and skull. The team of paleontologists working on the site believe the animal was killed by humans who butchered and stored the meat there. And that's all for today's edition of Newsline. For any comments or suggestions, please feel free to email them to us at newsline.nbt@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook or simply visit our website at thainews.prd.go.th/en. And for now, we're going to say goodbye with the world's largest chocolate coin in Venezuela. I'm Surapal Lautharanarit. Thank you for joining us and have a great day. สวัสดีครับ